Section 6.4 is applications of linear systems. Now, when we're looking at applications of linear systems, that means that we are applying what we've learned from all the other sections, from graphing and substitution and elimination. We're applying that to real-world situations, which means that we're going to be working with word problems. Okay? So depending on what your problem is giving you, whatever the situation is, you can choose any method to solve. Okay? The best method could be graphing. The best method could be substitution. The best method could be elimination. And we'll take a look at those problems. Here, the best method for graphing is when you want to use a visual display. Okay? For substitution, when one equation is already solved for a variable, when one already is an x equals and one is already a y equals. And then for elimination, if you see inverses, okay, or if you see things that are exactly the same, then elimination would be the best choice there for solution. Okay? So problem 1 is finding a break-even point. Finding a break-even point. And of course, break-even means, for example, when expenses and income are the same, okay, when they're equal. That's what the break-even point is. A puzzle expert wrote a new sudoku puzzle. His initial costs are $864. Binding and packaging each book cost 80 cents. The price of the book is $2. How many copies must be sold to break even? Okay, so we want to know how many books he has to sell in order to compensate for everything that he spent to make this happen. Is everybody clear? So we want to know when expenses will be equal to the income. So the first thing we want to do is we want to write an equation for our expenses. What are the expenses in the word problem? Right. His initial costs are $864. And the binding. Right. And the binding and packaging cost 80 cents each. What does each mean in math? Multiplication. Multiplication. Very good. All right. So for expenses, we're going to have a y equals. So y equals everything that we're spending. So if I wanted to write this in slope-intercept form, of course, I'll put the x first, right? So the binding and packaging comes first. So that's going to be 80 cents for each book. So 80 cents times x plus his initial costs, which were $864. Very good. And then the income for the equation for the income is just what he's charging for the book, right? So the price of the book is $2. So my equation for the income would be y is equal to 2x. Okay? Where x is equal to the number of books. Okay? Y sub e is just all of this, right? And that has to be equal to the income. So when we write our equation, we're going to write 0.8, so that's 80 cents x plus 864 is equal to 2x. And now we can solve for x, which is the number of books. So first thing we want to do is put our like terms together. So we're going to subtract 0.80x on this side minus 0.80x on that side. We'll end up with, this cancels on this side, right? So we get 864 is equal to 1.2x. Then we'll divide by 1.2 on both sides. And x is equal to what? So equals 720 books. So in order for him to break even, he needs to sell 720 books. Got it? All right, problem 2 is solving a mixture problem. Okay? One antifreeze solution is 20% alcohol. Another antifreeze solution is 12% alcohol. How many liters of each solution should be combined to make 15 liters of antifreeze solution that is 18% alcohol? All right, so it's easier to see what we're talking about if we draw a picture, okay? So we've got a container here that contains 20% of 20% alcohol solution, and it has X liters, okay? So this is X liters of the 20% solution. We want to add to that the solution that is a 12% alcohol solution. So this is 12%, and that will be our Y liters. Okay, so we're going to add X plus Y, right? And when we add them together, we want to end up with a solution that is 18% alcohol, and we want to also end up with 15 liters. Is everybody clear with that? Let's see. So, we can write two equations for this. And when we write our two equations, then we can use substitution to solve them. All right, so when we write this equation, where we want 20% of the alcohol here, of the entire solution, I mean. So, and again, of in math means multiply. Very good. So, and also when we write the equation, the percent, before we put the percent into the equation, we need to change the percent to a decimal. Very good. So, the first equation here, we've got 20%, so that's going to be 0.20 times x. Plus, here we've got the 12%, so that's going to be 0.12 times y. And then over here, the total is going to be 18%, 0.18 times the number of liters here, which is 15. Does that make sense? See, we multiply times x here, times L here, times y here, and here is going to be times 15. You got that? Our second equation will be the easy one. Talking about liters. This many liters plus this many liters is equal to this many liters, right? So it would be, tell me again?
X plus Y equals 15.
Very good. X plus Y is equal to 15. And now you have your two equations, and now you can use substitution to solve them. So now I can go a little faster, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for the first thing I want to do is I want to solve for X or for Y. All right, so subtract X here and there. So Y is equal to negative X plus 15. So now you're going to put that negative X plus 15 in here for Y. Okay? So we end up with 0.20x plus 0.12 times negative x plus 15 is equal to 2.7. And now we simplify. I need some more space. All right, so we're going to distribute. So we have 0.20x minus 0.12x plus 1.8 is equal to 2.7. So 0.20x minus 0.12x is equal to point what? Plus 1.8 is equal to 2.7. So now we're going to subtract 1.8 on both sides, and what do you get? What do you get?
0.9.
So now you're going to divide by 0.08, and x is equal to what? 11.25 what? Liters of
Alcohol.
which one?
20%.
20%. Solution. So it's 11.25 liters of the 20% solution. Okay? So now you're going to take that 11.25, bless you. You're going to take this 11.25 and you're going to put it right in for x in the other equation. You got that? So we've got 11.25 plus y is equal to 15. We'll subtract 11.25 on both sides. And y is equal to
3.75.
3.75 liters of the
12%.
12%
Of alcohol.